Live Sports.
Past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. Here it comes. He struck him out, and Morris has a no-hitter.
There's a drive to left. That one is long gone.
You don't want to walk you.
There's a long drive to right, and it is a home run for Gibson. A three-run homer. The Tigers take it 8-4.
There's a long drive on the left down the line. If it stays there, it's gone. It's a fair ball. It's the facing of the upper deck. Home run number 50 for Central fielder.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Roar Live right here on the My Michigan TV, YouTube, and, of course, the Cavana Broadcast Network coming at you. We've got a lot of sports to talk about, and, of course, every team other than the Red Wings have something going. We got to talk Tigers, surging first place, 2.5 games ahead of the Guardians. We're going to talk about the struggling Pistons. We will look at Lions draft results and, of course, the draft chaos. I want to get Co's take on all this. We've talked a little bit about it off air. And then we're going to talk about is there any bias towards these players that kind of slid down? So looking at the Tigers, Co., first place, they lost last night in Houston, which is, to me, is no surprise, especially coming after playing, 4 games in 3 days?
Yep.
Yeah, so I kind of figured they were due for a down game, especially having to go playing a game Sunday and then traveling to Houston and having to play the next day. But they did put up 5 runs, they lost 8-5, but I mean they didn't play all that well.
Yeah.
I mean compared to this kind of looks like a different Tigers team. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to proclaim them the World Series. They're going to the World Series and all that other stuff, but
you don't think they can go?
I think, well, if you...
Because what's the point?
Well, I think they have a shot to get in the playoffs. I think with the way they're playing now, they probably can win the division. But it's a long season. I mean, we're not even to May yet.
Right.
I mean, this first month is a very abnormal Tigers team that we've seen in the past few years.
Yeah, they can play. They can play with anybody.
Sure.
So, on the
were you surprised that they took that doubleheader? I was kind of shocked at that. That they won, because maybe that's kind of like what we've been talking about before. Same old Lions. We thought, well, same old Tigers are going to at least drop one, but they kept it pushing.
Yeah, they did. They've been hitting, and they did take the series. But you know what? I've been watching a little bit of baseball.
Okay.
And the Tigers took care of business, but the Orioles stink.
They stink? Okay.
Yeah, they stink. Give the Tigers credit. When Scoobs is out there, he pitched the other day. When he's gonna get you a win for sure, most likely than not. But I think they're still striking out too much as a team.
Sure.
And that on the surface, the Tigers look like they can get to the playoffs. But underneath the surface, they're striking out way too much.
I would agree.
All of them as a team.
Yeah, Riley Green's got 38 already on the year. We just talked last week.
Yeah.
I think he only had like 34.
Yeah.
And Torkelson's up to 34. His batting average has dropped down a little bit to 45. I think he was like 286 earlier,
286,
something like that. McKinstry, the big, are you hitting 321?
But those are like we said before, they're gonna go up and down all year.
Sure.
Because that's their type of team, as far as average and stuff like that. They just got to keep doing what they're doing as far as putting it together at the same time.
Sure.
And they'll be fine. Pitching's fine. Bullpen's fine.
How do you like Javi in center?
He's catching the ball.
Yeah.
He's catching the ball.
And he's batting .299.
But you know what? Javi's been a shortstop all his career, right?
Right.
Most shortstops can play center field. Look
I
at
would
Yount.
say so.
Robin Yount.
Yeah.
But they're usually the athlete,
Right.
so they can do that. May as well keep him out there. I don't know.
Yeah, because I haven't heard anything on Parker Meadows coming back,
And Sweeney
or even Vierling. I haven't heard anything on him either.
Meadows going to be late. It's May now. They said late May, maybe June. But yeah, and Sweeney. They need to find. But don't try to fix it. Don't try to change nothing. Keep him out there. He's catching the ball. He's playing a good center field.
Yeah, Dylan Dingler's still holding down the fort, batting .286.
Yeah.
Colt Keith, I think he raised his batting average up
to
since,
2 points.
He's batting .176 on the year so far. But Gleyber Torres batting pretty well there. .269.
Well, that's Torres. He's going to do that. He's going to hit. That ain't great, but he's going to stay there.
Right.
He's going to stay there. 260, 270. I don't know what Keith is doing. Is he have a blindfold on? Going up to the plate? Can he not see?
I'm going to say this. He has 19 strikeouts, but he's got 15 walks. It's almost like
I don't care about that.
Well, he's not getting
a hit.
Yeah, I think they need to send him down.
They do.
At least for a month or two.
Clear his head a little bit.
Because why not? I mean, unless they feel he's that fragile to where that it might do something to him, his psyche. But I feel like send him down to AAA, let him calm down a little bit, let him play his natural position of second base, and
see some pitches.
Get him some swings, and get his timing down or whatever the case may be.
Whatever he's missing.
I just feel like you might as well do it now. It's early in the season, and then maybe he can get back on track and bring him up, in July.
Yeah.
I mean, because honestly, he doesn't have the worst batting average on the team.
There's somebody lower than 170?
If I'm not Creedler, Ryan Creedler. I think they end up sending him down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a team. We've talked about this before.
Pesky.
It's a pesky team, and it's a plug and play team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plug and play.
They need another bat.
If
they need another bat, especially if you're gonna be in contention in the playoffs, you need something. You need a right-handed power hitter. I think that's what they need.
You do. That's exactly what they need. They need some help.
I'd like to know who could be out there that they could trade.
That's a good question.
For I mean, because you look at other teams. I mean, everybody's kind of bottled up. Nobody's like really running away with things.
Nope.
So far this year,
I still think the Dodgers will.
You think they'll run away from the Padres? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I got my Dodger gear on today.
Right. They will win the West. Maybe by I'm going to say 5, maybe.
Okay.
Because the Padres, they have the Padres numbers, and the Padres are going to play good ball up until it's time to overtake the Dodgers.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not going to be like 10 or anything like that, but I would say they're going to win the West by about 5.
Well, how about the topsy-turvy West, AL West? Mariners now are a game ahead in first. Houston is a game out. And I think just a week ago, the Angels were on top. They're 3.5 out now.
Houston will win it.
You think Houston takes it?
Yeah.
You know, I kind of have.
It's going to be a tough series with the Tigers, Houston Tigers.
Right.
Be a tough series.
Yeah, I mean, that's Jared. I think I'm getting a little echo.
We
here.
do. We got echo.
Sorry about that. Hello. There we go. Sorry about that. I was hearing myself twice, but I
They're
mean,
just tough.
Yeah, I mean that's just
When it counts.
Yeah, that's the truth. And the Rangers are hovering around. Is it surprising to you that the Athletics are hanging around 500?
No. And then it'll explode. No. It'll implode.
Isn't it weird though that the Athletics seem to kind of hover around, but they always kind of seem to.
They're staying in till the end.
Till the end.
Yeah, they'll stay in till the end. And see that's where the Tigers are going to be. They should try and be like they can identify with the Astros. Young, stay together, but you got to keep going. They're not as consistent as the Astros obviously have been. But they have that opportunity to be like that because they're all the same. They're all together. You know, it's all of them, homegrown.
Sure.
So they got to stay consistent though. I don't believe in them right now, but years down the road, a couple of years down the road, this team, and they still can get in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they hit enough. They just don't hit enough, and they don't have enough power to overtake Cleveland. So, but they're a mirror. They can be the mirror of like the Astros.
Well, I'll tell you.
Consistency.
Right now, I mean, it's kind of hard to judge. You know, we know what they need, another bat. Maybe Parker Meadows comes back and gives them some pop. Veerling coming back might give them some pop too.
Anything at this point.
But, you know, when you really look at it, the Tigers are in first place, and right now they hold the best record in the AL at 18-11.
Yep.
Yankees are one game behind that. They're 17-12. They're in the East, and that division
It stinks.
It stinks,
stinks
but
now.
it's kind of bottled up though.
It stinks now.
Boston's only a game and a half back. Tampa's still hovering around at 2.5.
Yeah, Baltimore's terrible. Toronto's terrible. Boston is going to be iffy. The Yankees will win that. They'll win that division, and the Yankees aren't great, but they'll win that division. Baltimore. I thought, and everybody thought that they would be a much better ball club, like the scouts and everybody saying like sports people, the analysts. We thought Baltimore would be giving the Yankees a run for their money. They don't look good at all. They don't. So, Yankees win it again. The question is, can they get to the World Series?
Taking a look into the National League, the Mets are still on top there in the East. They're 20-9, playing some good baseball. Best record in the OMLB. The West is kind of a goofy division. San Francisco's now on top, 19-10. Dodgers they're actually tied with the Dodgers, and the Padres are a game and a half back. But they've been on a 4-game losing streak. Diamondbacks are still in it, 3.5 out. We're not even going to talk about the Rockies at 14.5 out. Their season is done, in my opinion.
It was over week 1.
Yeah. But hey, anything surprising you in Major League Baseball so far? As we are about a month, first month in?
Baltimore, and I didn't see the Tigers being in first place. I knew the Tigers would be competitive, but Baltimore, you knew the Chicago White Sox would be terrible. You knew, like you just said, Colorado. A's always do what they do, hang around, then play you hard, and then. You know, Texas is Texas, Seattle, start, hang around, and then, Baltimore and, the Mets, I like the Mets start. I didn't think they would, even with Soto, I didn't think they would jump out to like 20-9. But, yeah, the Mets, Baltimore, and the Tigers being in first. I didn't think they would be in first place. Nope.
I don't think anybody really thought the Tigers would be where they're at right now.
They stood down on the month of April.
Yeah.
You know, they held it down. April will be over in 2 days. They're playing good baseball. Good pitching beats hitting.
Yeah. and we're seeing it this year
Yep.
so far. And they got great pitching. I mean, Skubal, Flaherty. I still think the Tigers are still going to need to score more runs for Flaherty. Seems like Flaherty always kind of doesn't have much to work with run support wise.
Did he pitch last night? They gave him 5 last night?
Yeah, they gave him 5 last night, but they gave up 8. He gave up 4, and Hannafy.
But they struck out 12 times in one game.
Yeah.
You can't do that and win a ball game.
I agree with you.
That means everybody's striking out a little bit.
Well, and we see it in the stats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you look at it, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's pretty much all I have on the Tigers so far.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not mistaken, let's take a look at their schedule. They have coming up. They have 2 more in Houston, and then they're off to Los Angeles to play the Angels, and from there they'll end their road trip in Colorado.
Sweet.
So I mean, hey, even with the playing Los Angeles,
They lose this series. I think they lose to Houston.
You think so?
Yep.
Olsen's on the hill tonight.
Okay.
Job finishes it up in Houston.
Okay.
And then Mize, Skubal, Flaherty, and Olsen again. I guess this Los Angeles Angels is a 4-game series. Is what it's showing here.
They 3-1 that.
And then Job, Mize, and Skubal in Colorado, and Flaherty.
Joe Mize, they sweep that.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
a sweep.
so we could definitely, I could see them
The
having a winning road trip.
Well,
here.
they could. The question is, what is Cleveland going to do? Are they going to hold their own?
Right.
Because I still think they're going to win the division. Cleveland.
Right.
But don't let don't let the Tigers keep taking all these series,
Sure.
because then there's going to be an issue,
That is true.
with Cleveland. So don't let, because the Tigers got the better pitching.
And we don't see Cleveland until Thursday, May 22nd in Detroit. That's the first time we play Cleveland.
Okay.
Isn't that weird? In
been a long-
rival team,
yeah.
and we don't see them till the end of May.
Yeah, that's weird.
Especially with how many games we play, which means it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of games against Cleveland, maybe when it counts.
Maybe that's how they tried to do it.
Yeah.
Like they did the Lions with the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how that rolls for the Detroit Tigers. Listen, we've had an exciting few days in Detroit. Where do you want to go with next? You want to talk the Lions, or do you want to talk about the Pistons?
Well, Pistons are on tap tonight, so might as
Let's
well.
talk about the Pistons.
Pistons are cooked.
Yeah,
Pistons are cooked.
and I'm going to say this. I heard a lot of people on the radio talking about, they should have been called a foul on the Tim Hardaway thing. My thing is this. You shouldn't put yourself in a position as
To
a
have
team
that come across, yep.
to have that. That's the only way you can win.
Yep.
I
agree.
And you know what the problem is? The Pistons should have swept the Knicks. They've been in every game, and when it's come down to it, they just haven't had that.
They were
power.
capable. Yeah.
So they need basically what you're saying is you need another star power.
You need another star power.
Or is it that they have the star power in the making? They're just too young right now.
You need another person.
Who would you get? I mean, now that they're playing well, you might have some of these NBA stars that might want to come to Detroit. Now that the Pistons are kind of the it team.
Well, I hear screams of Booker coming back home. I just don't know if Book.
Put him in the backcourt with Cade.
I just don't know if Book fits this. And I don't know him, but just his play is a selfish style of play. Book wants to get his numbers. Book's a great player, good player. He's not that defensive minded. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
So who's out there? Who would be available? No aging veteran free agent.
Well,
You know.
I don't want to see a Draymond Green here.
Oh, no, that'll never happen. That'll never happen, first of all. They don't need him. That's one. Two, that Golden State will never, get rid of him. Go get Giannis.
I'll tell you what. Let's take a look at this here.
Go get Giannis.
NBA free agents.
Because he's leaving when Milwaukee loses this round.
Well, yeah. So these are the free agents right now that'll be free agents at the end of this season. I don't want to see LeBron James come here. Kyrie Irving is not a person I want to see come here.
Doesn't fit.
James Harden definitely doesn't fit.
Doesn't fit.
Miles Turner, the center from Indiana. I don't know too much about him. Might bring you some defense. But then again, with the way they've had their issues with Indiana this year, I don't know if that would be a team you would want to come over here. Julius Randle from Minnesota.
Could fit.
Jonathan Kuminga.
Get him. He
from
would fit.
Golden State.
He would fit. Plays hard.
Do you think they need another guard, though?
I don't care. I don't care who they get, center, forward, or guard.
Okay. You just need
somebody else to score. Yep. Somebody else to score with Cade.
Fred VanVleet from Houston. Would he fit?
Yep.
Okay.
Because he's defensive minded. He plays for a defensive minded coach. Even though Golden State is going to beat them, they're up 3-1. But VanVleet, yeah, and he's going to knock down threes. That's what the league is all about. Now.
What about?
I would take VanVleet. Yeah.
Cam Thomas from Brooklyn.
Okay.
He's out. He could be out there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a 3 mid-range guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much it would cost you. I don't think it would cost you that much.
I need a guy. If Cade is not going, he's going. He can go. He can cover. That's what I need. Now, Book can do that, but Book, it's kind of the same player. Cade's a little bigger, stronger, obviously, but.
Is there anybody that you think they could get in the draft? I mean, now that you're winning, you're not going to really have that high draft pick.
No. That's a good question. I have to look at that because I don't, all I know is my guy Flag is going 1.
How about D'Angelo Russell?
For what?
I know that, but these are some names.
No.
Russell Westbrook. These are some names that are out there. I don't think any of these guys.
Let me hold on. Since we're talking sports, let me get this out of the way.
Okay.
I don't want people to think Russell Westbrook will probably go to the Hall of Fame. And when I say stuff like this guy stinks or something like that, he stinks in the league. He's good. He's made it to the league. I'm just saying he's not doing what he's supposed to do in the league.
Okay.
I'm not saying these aren't great athletes or great players. So please don't get me wrong. But when I say Riley Green's in the show. You know what I mean? He can play. But he's just not doing, if I say, he's stinking up the joint right now, yeah, he's, not doing what he's supposed to do on that level. So, but yeah, no Westbrook.
Well, speaking of guys that they've brought back in Tobias, what about Luke Kennard?
He's making a difference, Tobias.
Yes. Tim Hardaway Jr. is making a difference.
He is. If he makes his threes, they win.
Yeah.
They won he's the kind of the X factor with the shooting. Tobias is always going to make his shot. He's a good shooter. He's going to make his shots. What I'm saying, you know what you're going to get from him. Hardaway, if he can be consistent with his three, everybody takes three, so that's what it is. I saw last night, I was watching the Golden State. I saw Butler had a wide open shot in the paint, and he kicked it out for the three. The guy opened three. I'm like, wow. The three-pointer has just taken over, the high-efficient shot. But, yeah. Yeah, if Hardaway can – but the Pistons are cooked. They'd
have to win out. Now, the last time that they were down 3-1, it was against the Magic, and they won. But you don't really see it much.
The Pistons should have lost the first game at the Palace. Should have won.
Yes.
That's when the series.
They should have won the second. They should have won the first game in New York.
They had to win that game. People kept saying, "Oh, this is pivotal for New York," because they were down they split in New York. No, it's not. New York, first of all, they're the favorite. They're playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. They're going to the Pistons had to win that game to make it 2-1.
Right. Oh, I agree with you. I totally agree.
You
with
gave New York all the momentum.
Right.
Now they know they can beat you, and they will. They may not do it tonight, but are they in New York?
They're in New York.
Oh, they'll do it tonight. It's over.
You think it's over?
Yeah.
4 games to 1.
Yeah. They can't stop Brunson. They have no answer for Brunson. I don't think Brunson's a superstar. He's playing like one.
Well, he played like one last year.
Yeah, he did. Maybe he is a superstar. He's averaging 30. He's doing what Cade's not doing. Cade was supposed to be the best. Cade's the best player, to me, on the floor. But Cade's not. He's not consistent. Obviously, he's not being consistent like Brunson is doing. Brunson is going nuts.
Well,
30 a night.
I have heard other sports shows saying that they think the Pistons could win this series in 7.
No.
Well, here's the thing. If they win tonight, they come back home for 1. They could possibly win at home. That'll tie the series up right there. But the big thing is, can you win a Game 7 in New York?
No.
It's going to be hard.
They don't. I like this Pistons team. I love Cade. Cade is nice. He's nice. They can't do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They had the opportunity. It's like New York's not going to let. Well, and I don't overly believe in the conspiracy, whatever. But I don't know if people want to see people want to see players come to the Garden. That's what they want. Even though the Pistons are getting back to where they belong, this is a basketball town. Let's not forget that.
Right.
Thanks to the captain. But yeah, they can't. They're not going to win the series.
Well, speaking of conspiracy theories, this draft, this NFL draft, is quite has brought up quite a bit of conspiracy theories
And chaos.
And let's go into that first before we talk about who the Lions got and everything. I guess it kind of coincides with each other. But I know when we were talking about what we wanted to discuss tonight, big names kind of slipped down the chain there in the draft. Shedeur, we could talk about that. We could also talk about Will Johnson slipping into the second round, going to Arizona. And I guess I wanted to approach this chaos, so to speak, in a franchise perspective.
What do you mean?
Well, the reason I say this, if I'm a franchise owner,
Okay.
and I know we kind of discussed this a little bit. If I'm a franchise owner, of course I want to do my due diligence to make sure who I'm going to give all this money to is going to be on the field of play. So I know we talked about it a little bit, Will Johnson. Come to find out, I guess he had a knee injury that was concerning. I thought and I know I get a lot of grief with this, and I think Will Johnson can be a good player in this league, in the right system. Okay, and I'm not talking anything bad about Will, but I think when you look at it, he didn't participate in, I believe, the U of M Pro Day. He didn't participate in that. I think then he really hasn't played a full season in since the national championship.
No, he played.
And he only played half the season last year.
Right.
Yeah. So,
4 games.
Yeah. So, and that's a lot of missed football. And I can see, with these players now, with the NIL, the money's there. You're not really forced to, so to speak, push yourself. But as a franchise owner, do you think that's kind of reason why Will fell out of the graces of what a lot of people in the beginning of the college football season was saying he was going to be a top fiver?
He was going to be a top fiver. So the Will thing, I think. I'll get into the Will thing.
Okay.
Okay, so Will fell to 47th or something like that?
Yes.
Okay. So Will's sophomore year. Okay, we'll just break this down. To me, there were two cornerbacks that they had better. Jedi, I think, in Texas, and they had Hunter for obvious reasons. Okay, Will, true freshman. He started as a true freshman, right? 14 games, 27 tackles, 3 interceptions. 2 interception performance in the Big Ten championship game over Purdue. That's why they won. That's his freshman year.
Sure.
Sophomore year. Jim Thorpe watch list. He allowed only 17 receptions on 321 coverage snaps. This is a sophomore. Including 0 receptions for touchdowns on him. He finished the 2023 season with second lowest QB rating when targeted in college football, adding 27 tackles and 4 interceptions. Okay, that's a sophomore. Johnson scored the first in this is just crazy. So his junior season, he was ranked the best corner in college coming into the season. All right? He was widely considered the first round pick. That's what we said. Will has more pick sixes than any player in the history of Michigan. He has 3. Not to mention, in the national championship, in the Ohio State game, he takes away Harrison Jr., just took him away.
Sure.
And picked and had the pick on him.
And now gets to play with him in Arizona.
There you go. And in Dunze, the pick, he took him out against Washington, Penix Jr. And he was the defensive player of the game, MVP. He's the best corner in college. Shoulder contusion, foot. He didn't work out. Everybody had the footage. The draft looked like O-line, D-line, I think a couple of DB, safety, 1 corner or whatever, and quarterback. They didn't, it looks like to me they just went need. There's no way you can argue and by the way, Ty Law played at Michigan. Woodson played at Michigan. Jordan Lewis played at Michigan. Trip Wilborn played at Michigan. We're talking about 4. Come on, man. I don't know how Will slipped down there. Again, I think it's injury.
Well, but in a franchise perspective,
and that's okay.
I think that they feel like, do you want to spend all that kind of money on a first round pick and you don't know if he's going to stay healthy? I mean, because when you think about it, there's been a ton. I'm not saying Will be a bust or anything else like that. I'm just saying there was a lot of players that people thought were going to go higher than what they did in this draft. This was a really chaotic draft.
People love Cam Ward. I think he's good.
To me, there was really no.
It's
to
a
me,
gamble.
there was really no one that wowed me in this draft. Like, wow, that he's going to go on to be a Hall of Famer.
Gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. This
fall is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. But, I just think, sometimes I think you can, I understand you're really not playing for nothing like he did in the.
It could have took a hit. It could have. They said shoulder contusion. You hit with your shoulder. You leave with your shoulder.
But
and
I
they
never
said foot.
heard anything about a knee. Did you?
I heard shoulder and foot. That's all I ever heard. That's all I ever heard.
And they're worried about his knee holding up long term. Not in the short term, but long term.
Yeah.
Which it makes you wonder, do they have, these players have to take physicals and stuff.
Did they see something?
Right.
He ran a 4.5. I had never heard anything about the knee. All I know is he showed out in college. He set records. Every big play that was needed to be made, he made it. Michigan don't come anywhere near. They don't win with McCarthy by himself with no defense. McCarthy barely threw the ball.
Right.
It was a defensive championship, and Will led it, him and Graham. I mean, you got the footage. Sometimes we overthink this.
I mean, other than Deion Sanders, though, cornerbacks really aren't.
They don't get drafted like that.
Right.
They don't get drafted high.
Right. And then, you see a lot of cornerbacks that are, and the ones that do have a lot of high-profile, star quality coming into the draft, they haven't panned out. Jeff Okudah, he was supposed to be an all-star.
But if you watched him, he was never really a lockdown. He was a talent. He was never really a lockdown. They didn't consider him
So let me
lockdown.
ask you something. So I have read certain things with Will that, they worry about him not really being a man-to-man guy, that he's more of a zone coverage, and that he needs to find a system for that. What do you think?
No. I just read the stats. He took away two of the best receivers. That's his thing. He covers. The stats, they prove it. He had 3 pick sixes. Like, he had 19 interceptions. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, the stats are there. The cover corner stats. He took away the side. Now, granted, that's college. It's not pro. But he took away your bet. Marvin Harrison said, "What is this?"
So why do you think he fell?
Injury.
That's the only thing.
That's it. What else could it be? Shoulder? Because you didn't see a whole bunch of corners go before him. He saw a safety, I think maybe one corner. It has to be injury. He didn't work out. He didn't work out. And it could have been the foot, too, the toe. I heard the turf toe or whatever. But he's a true freshman, and he won them the Big Ten championship with 2 picks by himself.
I just think for me,
it has to be injury.
It's just, like I said, this draft has just been so chaotic. I mean, you look at Will, and then we've had our opinions on Shedeur Sanders. That was kind of like the big, other than Will, Shedeur was probably the biggest surprise to a lot of people dropping what he did. But then again, when I look at his accomplishments and what he did at Colorado, he never really won a big game. He had a good completion.
Oh, yeah.
Completion, but people say, well, it's because he didn't have he wasn't throwing deep. He's not. It was more, the short passes.
Yeah. Listen.
I think. Let's go to this. Boomer Esiason.
You just said it. And by the way, Will did win a championship, national championship.
And I agree with you with that. I just feel like when we're talking about that, I just think that these owners are starting to see that these guys are already getting this big money in college, and now they're saying, oh, they already have their money, then we can be a little more, play it on the safe side, and let these, make sure that we're getting the best deal for our investment. I just think that's what these franchise owners are saying.
Could be.
So Boomer Esiason, Jared, this is Boomer Esiason. He talked a little bit about why he thought Shedeur Sanders made the drop down in the draft. Go ahead with that, Jared.
And he's exactly right.
Him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed himself. His attitude off the field at the combine, his dad didn't help him either. He was on podcast talking about, this is my son. If I can get him to where I want to get him to, I'm going to do that. But, when you listen to this kid talk right prior or at the combine about if you want a new culture in your locker room, I'm the guy to do that. I can turn it around. I mean, he's very high on himself. And I think he was very off-putting to many, many coaches and general managers. in the league. And I'm telling you right now, and I know this after talking to 3 different personnel people in the NFL this weekend. They didn't even have him on their board. They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this entitled person on our team. And I don't blame them. They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed him.
Okay, Jared. So that was Boomer's opinion. Do you agree with that?
No. Yes and no. No. Yes and no. Let me say that. Well, first of all, what's wrong with being confident and arrogant in yourself when you're playing that game? You have to be. You're a quarterback.
Right.
You better be. Nobody says it. Nobody says it when Burrow, he's Joe Cool. Let me get to the point here. Shedeur, I got one word, arrogance. That's what it was with Deion as his dad. See, Shedeur is not good enough to be arrogant with shenanigans.
But he was definitely not the athlete that his father was either.
Of course not.
Coming out of college.
People will tolerate arrogance with great play.
Right.
With outstanding talent.
Sure.
So I don't want to hear, well, this guy was too arrogant, he was too sure of himself. Who's less than that than Travis Hunter? It's the same thing. He went number 2. He said the same stuff. I'm playing both ways. What's that all about? What does that mean, Boomer? Like Travis Hunter did the same thing. The problem is Deion said, I don't want him to go. I can cajole him to go where I want him to go. I don't want him to go to certain teams. And they say he's saying.
Well, Arch Manning did the same thing.
That's my point. That's my point. Nobody said anything about him handling Peyton and Eli.
Do you think this is discrimination in some?
No, I just think it could be. I don't know. I'm not for sure. But it's a good old boys network in the NFL. They said he sandbagged some interviews. The kid is
especially with the Giants.
Yeah, the kid is a cocky kid.
So do you think?
But do you realize who his dad is?
Right. But do you think him going in and talking to these teams
sure
that he
did.
knew he didn't want to go to, instead of Deion saying, just like Archie Manning said, Eli's not playing for the Chargers.
Right.
He just decided to take it upon himself and do crappy interviews with maybe the first 10 picks.
Well, it was him and Deion.
Right.
It was him and his dad. And his dad doesn't want him to play for a crappy team.
Well, we have footage of one of their interviews. Jared, you got that? Can you pull that up? One of the interviews they had with the team. No, not that one. We'll talk about that. There it is right there.
I am no good before 11 a.m.
I also get headaches from computers, so I can't be around them for too long.
I take stuff.
I need to have someone go up and down with me in the elevator.
I have a weakness for sweets.
Other weaknesses? We're slow learners, and we're not particularly good listeners.
That'll be a huge problem.
We're also slow learners. I am no good.
Okay, Jerry. So it's funny how many memes have been coming up and jokes that have been made with this.
It could be some racial undertone to it. I don't know. All I know is Deion is very polarizing as a player. You're talking the best corner ever to play. He knows the ins and outs of the NFL. He knows the backyard garbage that it comes with. I'm not an overly Shedeur fan, but the kid's not stupid. The kid can process. The kid can play quarterback.
You just think he was playing dumb with some of these teams?
I don't know.
We have another.
I don't know.
Another viewpoint I thought was pretty good.
Something happened where he went from maybe the Giants to 3 to there. But I really don't care about the pick. I really don't care. Brock Purdy was the last man picked.
Right.
He's about to get $1 billion.
Demetria Obalor is on Instagram. I thought this was a pretty good perception of Shedeur Sanders. Go ahead and play that, Jared.
People are so threatened by someone else's confidence that they want you to dim your own light just to make them feel better. And that's not going to happen here. I mean, let's be honest. You don't like him because he's flashy, because he has a nice watch, better than yours, better than mine. I mean, that just sounds like hating, though, to me. I mean, he is a rich kid who's really earned it. And that's why people should actually be applauding Shedeur. He doesn't have any scandal attached to his name, upstanding citizen. He's always supportive of his teammates and has been an excellent leader on the field, looks like it off the field. It's not easy walking in the footsteps of your famous dad, let alone Hall of Fame, best to ever do it type dad. But it just shows you how much of a hard worker he really is, because no one's going to be harder on Shedeur than his dad and then also himself. Some people are so...
Okay. I kind of agree with this a little bit, but my thing is, why do you think the viewpoint of Shedeur is so vast? It goes from one extreme to another. Why do you think that is? I mean, do you think it's Deion?
Why are we acting like this is this is the biggest? This draft, nothing's ever happened like this. It's because his father is Deion Sanders. End of story.
And do you think Deion's rubbed too many owners the
Yes,
wrong way?
he could have. Yes, Deion's going to be Deion no matter what. He showed you that on the baseball field, the football field, and as a coach. They call him Coach Prime, for crying out loud.
Right.
Not Coach Sanders. He's one of the most polarizing figures ever to play sports. And like she said, he's rich. He's a rich kid. And he can play. He can play. It's a lot of crap in the NFL. A lot of crap quarterbacks. There's 5 good ones. Everything else is borderline and drop.
Do you think
he can play? Like I said, I'm not his biggest fan. I think he can.
He's
going to work
a starter in the league? You think he could be a starter in the league?
Well, there's 5 quarterbacks there. Flacco's one of them. Watson's out. I don't know who else the other.
They drafted Dylan Gabriel from Oregon before him.
No.
And the other one was Kenny Pickett. So he has a shot. He has a shot to start there.
Yeah, all you got to do is beat out Flacco. Kenny Pickett showed us what he can do.
But do you feel like a lot of these teams didn't want to take a chance on him too because they figured he might have to sit a year or so?
Well, Deion,
and Deion's
going to be in their ear. You know, Deion. Some people may look at it that way. I got to deal with him and his dad, so they might say that. And the owners, if you tick them off, they get together and they conspire and, like Boomer said, get him off the board. We don't want him. To try to make an example out of you, like they did Kaepernick. But that's different. But yeah, it's a good old boy network, good old boy league. He rubbed people the wrong way with his attitude.
But why do you think what the big difference is between this, the way where they handled Shedeur, and the way they let it kind of slide with Eli? You know, Mannings are kind of NFL royalty.
It's quarterback royalty. It's quarterback royalty. Archie wasn't Deion. He wasn't like Deion as far as the player. Archie was a great player, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't like Deion. Is just Deion, man. There's nothing like it. He's going to talk and he's going to say, and the back stuff that, like she said, the cockiness, the big chain. People take offense to that. Let's not act like we don't know this.
Right.
Everybody. People take offense to that. A young black kid walking around with a Louis Vuitton case with $1 million in it. His dad did the same thing. His dad made a video.
Right.
Must be the money. It's just Deion and his son. But what people are not saying, they're not taking on Brady wanted to work with this kid. They're not mentioning the hard work traits. He works hard. He does work hard. And like I said, his only knock, a couple of knocks is taking too many sacks and the athleticism.
Well, you could say taking too many sacks, but
the offensive line was terrible.
Yeah,
the Colorado stinks. Deion helped that, whatever, the 9-6 or whatever they go to, whatever. But he's going to have to play somewhere with offensive line. So you can't have it both ways. He's a black quarterback. He runs. Now he sits in the pocket. Now he doesn't. Now he's a pocket guy. He's not fast enough. Which one do you want? He's not fast enough. He's not athletic. Well, when Lamar does it, that's all he is. Then when Lamar starts passing, he doesn't run enough. He's got to get to the show that he can play, show his work ethic, put his head down and play football. He can beat out Flacco. It's Cleveland.
You're right.
Flacco's 50. Pickett stinks. Again, he's in the league, but Pickett's not going to win you no Super Bowl. He's not going to take you anywhere.
Right.
So we'll see again. This is the biggest thing. This draft has been the biggest. I've never seen anything like this on this type of player ever. And it's all because of Deion Sanders. That's it. Is his dad. The name on the back. So let's see when Arch comes out. Let's see how that goes.
Right. Well, we will see on that for sure.
Yeah.
Looking at the draft, I mean, I think what could have made a lot of these teams kind of iffy on some of these players that fell is, and I never thought about this, but let's just say you didn't think Shedeur is a starting quarterback. Do you want to take a guy in the first round or the second round that's not a starting quarterback in your eyes and pay him all that money? I think that could have been a reason, one of the reasons, because you've seen, and then in the case of Will, it was more injury for that. But I think Will do fine in the NFL with Arizona. I think that's a great spot for him.
I think it's a good spot. I don't know what money is, or what Shedeur gets. Will got a deal, $2 million. I think it comes out to $2 million a year so far. But they're on their rookie deals, 4-year rookie deals. So you got to prove it. Will's going to have to prove it just like everybody else. He's going to have to earn his money. Shadeur's going to have to earn his money. Everybody drafted is going to have to earn their money to get to that. So we'll see who works the hardest. We'll see what happens and see who's landed with the best team. That works out for them. That's another thing to it. Cleveland might be the right spot for him.
Well, I mean,
the O-line is decent, the defense is decent. Stefanski, they like him. Good coach. Blue collar style. He doesn't. He's not gonna. No one's ever said he's gonna just beat you throwing the ball 100 yards. Everything is protecting the ball and processing and getting rid of it fast. So, get him somebody he can throw to. I think he'll be okay. I thought he was going to go to Pittsburgh.
Well, they definitely need a quarterback. They ended up. I think Cleveland ended up going with. I think Pittsburgh ended up going with Will Howard.
How many teams in the NFL? 30? 32?
I believe so. Yeah, 32.
Right. 27 teams need a quarterback.
But you know what though? When you think about it, there was only 2 quarterbacks picked in the first 2 rounds.
Won a good quarterback draft.
And I'll be honest with you. If I was the Giants, I like Jackson Dart. I think that's a good fit for the Giants there. I do. I've seen some games with Jackson. I think he has good mechanics. And I think he's a guy that could succeed in New York. That's going to be a team that needs a lot of pieces and stuff. But I think he could. When
is he going to play?
I think he's going to play right away
over Russell Wilson.
Listen, Justin Fields started over basically.
Russell started.
Justin came in there and played,
but he stunk. They went to Russell. Russell was better.
Russell, I could see, but it wouldn't surprise me.
He's not going to start right away. But it's New York, so they could gamble and he get hurt. We'll see.
Because, if they're looking for a guy that I wouldn't be surprised if New York gets off to a slow start this year that they go to Jackson Dart.
Well, they'll be going to Jackson Dart. The Giants stink.
Yeah.
They stink. They do. They'll be going to Dart. If that's what but you got Jameis there too. You're gonna bypass him?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I listen.
I just said 27 teams need a quarterback. There's only 5 good ones. Only 5 good quarterbacks.
You can't blame the Giants for going Abdul Carter at number 3.
No, you cannot.
So to say that
he wants Lawrence Taylor's number.
Gone to number 3? No, not at all. And actually, the Giants did grade out as a A in all 3 days. They've got Abdullah Carter.
I don't know anything about this Dart.
He played for Mississippi.
Right. That's all I know.
SEC.
That's it.
So yeah, he's put up some good numbers, and I think he's going to be one of these kids that is going to. I think this kid could be a Pro Bowler. I really do.
Really?
Yes, I really do.
So you and Blank gave me junk over Caleb, but this guy's going to be a Pro Bowler.
Listen, yeah, I do.
So he's better than Caleb?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I don't know anything about him. I didn't watch any of his games, so I can't even tell you. All I know is he was sitting there waiting to get called. So, yeah. And like I said, 27 teams need a quarterback. It's only 5 good ones. And you better get these kids some help. You better get them a running game.
Yeah.
Because all of you sports analysts and everybody with this analytics and the running back is devalued. It's not wrong. You're all wrong. Everybody say you got to throw the ball. No, you don't. No, you don't. Get you a good running back.
Well,
how's it devalued? Ask John Elway. Is it devalued? Do you need a running back? Ask Tony Romo with DeMarco Murray, who led the league in.
Right.
Ask those guys. Ask
right.
your guy, Goff.
Yeah.
Ask Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What are you talking about? There's no thing for a running back. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Ask Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
At his prime.
Well,
Ask Breeze.
They did pick up Cam Scatterbo from Arizona State in the 4th round. He kind of slipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say, if anything, the Giants, and I'm not going to sit here and harp on the Giants all night.
Well,
I just think that they ended up grading out A's all 3 days. How do you think the Lions did?
I don't think they did anything special because,
to be honest with you, though, I don't think there was anything special in this draft.
They picked up offensive. But the thing about the Lions, now you guys are winning some games, so the roster's not going to look like it changed. So you have the same team. You're going to put the same team out there you did last year.
They didn't go edge.
Nope.
I think they did.
They went O-line.
They went O-line. They went defensive line with Tyleek Williams in the first.
They did go receiver. Miles Frazier, is it?
Well,
Isaac
Tesla was the 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
Who is out of Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Right receiver, yeah, Isaac. I'm sorry.
You know, I mean,
O-line. They went O-line, edge from Boise,
and they needed to go O-line.
Yeah, the O-line is.
We talked about that earlier.
It's overrated to me, but okay. They needed it.
And I'm actually interested to see this kid from Boise, this Ahmad Hassanin.
Mm-hmm. The edge?
Yes. Hey, a lot of things, like you said, a lot of players don't get drafted to the later rounds and end up turning into stars.
They do.
I guess it's a wait-and-see game.
Mm-hmm. We got to wait to see on everybody.
But
it's going to be an interesting fall, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great draft, but it's going to be an interesting fall.
Yeah. And I think the Lions, in my opinion, went for. I mean, look at they didn't other than Hassanin. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, Ahmad Hassanin. Mm-hmm. That he's the only edge guy that they drafted. Yeah. They didn't go They didn't go anywhere else, which is what was surprising to a lot of people. And they were one that passed on Will Johnson.
Yeah, they did. Shame on them. With Arnold,
yeah,
and those corners you have, Will's better than them now.
But do you think Will would have been a good fit in Detroit?
Not for me. No, not for me. Nope. No.
It might be good that he did go to Arizona.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Good pick. He worked out there all year, just about. He's familiar with. I mean, Will be fine. He'll be fine.
And he gets to go up against Marvin Harrison Jr. in practice
every day.
Only going to make him better
every day. This is going to be different.
Yeah,
it's going to be different for Will, and every rookie. Everybody's high on Genty. It's gonna be difficult.
Sure.
This is the NFL. It ain't just some walk in the park. It ain't as tough as it used to be, but it ain't no walk in the park. It's still the NFL.
How did you think your Cowboys did?
They did okay. I like Booker. They did okay. I like the back. He's fast from Texas. I do like him. And I was praying they got Will. He was right there before the Arizona. I think they did okay. They had a. I'm not in love with but I do like Booker. He's going to help with the running game. This kid ran a 4.3.
Now they got a B+.
Yeah.
Day 1 grade, but day 2 and 3 they graded out as A-.
Yeah. They had a good draft.
You think so?
Yeah. Because it's a copycat league.
Right.
Everybody wants Saquon Barkley and my guy Gibbs. Everybody wants that.
Who do you think did the worst in this draft? Because when I look at here, everybody's getting pretty decent.
Everybody got pretty
grades
decent grades
overall.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, I think got a decent grade.
Vegas got a A.
They got a. They got the kid
A+.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you look at these teams, I mean,
that's kind of a team. That's a sneaky team to watch. Play you hard. They're going to run the heck out of the ball. They're going to be physical. It's a Pete Carroll team. Geno, when he has a running back, he's good. I'm not saying they're going to win the West, because still Kansas City's going to win that again.
Miami got Quinn Ewers in the 7th round. A lot of these quarterbacks took a dive.
They weren't that good.
But they were big names last year in college football.
But that just goes to show you how it's going down. It's going down. It wasn't like when Baker and all them came out and after that. And, it was not like that. It's just the scope of college football is changing anyway.
So
yeah,
that was the draft. And we talked about the Lions. We've talked about all the chaos. And I want to say that I am looking forward to next year because
this year
next season,
4 months.
4 months.
They'll go by fast.
Because I want to see if Shedeur Sanders gets that starting nod in Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch Will every game.
And I want to see if Will end up getting that starting position in Arizona and see what he can do.
I want to see the back. I want to see my Cowboys healthy, and they're going after Pickett from Pittsburgh, the receiver.
Pickens.
Amari may come back, and who's the kid from Carolina? He was more something like that. But yeah, a free agent, and then if Dak is healthy, we get a good running game. We'll swap with the East, but we'll lose in the playoffs.
So it's been the MO there.
Be fun to watch. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's just football.
I just think this. It's almost to me like, as crazy as this draft has been, that this season just has a lot of intrigue to me.
It does.
What's Will going to do? What's Shedeur going to do? Is Quinn Ewers going to be better than the 7th round that they picked him at?
Is Loveland going to destroy you guys?
Yeah. I mean,
that is huge.
Because I'll tell you something.
That is huge. You get a wide receiver / tight end. What you're getting with Loveland is Tony Gonzalez.
You think he's a Tony Gonzalez type guy?
That's what he is.
Well,
Loveland's he's not the greatest blocker, but he'll rough. He's rough. He'll rough you up. He runs like a receiver, and he does the tight end. I like him. I wish we could have got him. Oh, I like Schwartz, but
well, it's going to be interesting to see how
new coaches,
these draft picks fare.
Yeah, Green Bay did well in the draft.
Will Abdul Carter coming off I believe it was Achilles.
Yeah, and he's the Penn State kid. He asked for Lawrence Taylor's number.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor told him to kick rocks.
Can't do that.
What?
You can't do that.
Do you think that's just he does as a?
That's like you going to
it's just
Frisco saying, I want 16.
Well, that's like somebody coming up from the Tigers and saying,
I want
like,
one.
Yeah.
Or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was so pissed at them. So I was so mad at them for letting Iglesias wear Whitaker's number. I'm still mad at that. What?
Right.
That's just like somebody going to their Pistons saying, I want 11. Can't do that. Or Dallas, I want 12. Nobody wear 12. Starback. 33. I don't even know why they give it 33. Can't do that, man. Just go play. Get out there and prove that you're a Lawrence Taylor type. Because there's never going to be another Lawrence Taylor. It's these kids, man, I tell you.
But you know what I think it is, though?
Jeez.
It's ignorance
Yeah.
to a certain extent. But I think it's just, man, it's been a long time since Lawrence Taylor played football.
I don't
and these
care.
kids were never. This is like.
care.
Oh, I agree with
He
you.
knows.
But this is like us talking about Joe DiMaggio. You know, we never seen him play.
But we're historians.
Right.
He's a Yankee Clipper.
Right, exactly. No, I agree with you, but I don't think these kids are athletes, but I don't think they're sports historians.
They're not. They're not at all.
At all.
Go to Lakers. I want 32. Call Magic.
That took a lot of. And did he really think that Lawrence Taylor was going to say, "Oh yeah, let me give you that"?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. No problem. Unproven. Nothing. Right. They were trying to scream that with Micah. No. He's not. No. Lawrence Taylor did everything. Stop the run. Pad. Everything. No. Sorry. And he didn't do a podcast.
That's true.
He did other things.
We'll get into more of that at our next show on the Cornball Picture Show. But listen, everybody, we'd like to thank you for tuning in tonight to the Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV and the Cavana Broadcast Network YouTube channels. We'll be back next week. Next Thursday, we'll be back on the air, and we'll be talking more Detroit Tiger baseball. And, of course, I'm sure we're going to have some more Shador
see what happens
stories.
with the Pistons, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be talking about now. It's not going to be this Thursday. It'll be next Thursday.
Next Thursday, folks.
So we'll already know
what
the second round looks like.
Yep.
And we'll also know how the Detroit Tigers have fared so far in their away games. So,
beginning of May, month of May, so getting started. Heating up, man.
You're right. So we will talk to you next time right here on the Roar Live. I'm Scotty William. That's Corey Tiez. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.